Welcome to another IELTS essay correction, and the topic is related to science. Science tells about the activities which are good for our health and others which are bad. Millions of people all over the world know this and still do unhealthy activities. Why do you think this is, and what can be done to change it? Well, you can find a link to this essay correction below this YouTube video, and the student has made some serious mistakes, particularly those related to paragraph structuring. Let us discuss how the answer should have been structured. What is the appropriate one? Well, as usual, the first one is introduction, which should consist of a general statement related to science and related to how it helps and how it imparts information about the lifestyle. This should be followed by what are the reasons? Why do you think that is? What are the reasons? Mention briefly what are the reasons that lead to people following unhealthy activities. Maybe those are related to some psychological problems, some stress, perhaps due to a habit. They have a habit of continuing with that activity. In some cases, it can be due to culture as well. And finally, write one sentence on what needs to be done to change it. So, a solution. There should be one general statement followed by one sentence on reasons, mention the reasons, and one sentence on solutions. That's a three-sentence introduction. This should be followed by body paragraph 1. Now, what should body paragraph 1 be about? It should be about reasons. Explain the reasons. Idea 1. And then explanation of idea 1. So this is reason 1. Then idea 2 and an explanation of idea 2. What are the two reasons due to which people keep following these unhealthy activities? So explain them. Then it comes to body paragraph 2, which is more related to solutions. If you have more on the reasons why people do this, you can write one more paragraph on the same part, that is on reasons. You can explain in a bit more detail. However, then if you do not have many ideas, switch to solutions. Again, give two solutions. What needs to be done? Idea 1 along with explanation 1, then idea 2 and explanation 2. So this is essential what you need to do. And finally a solution. Finally, a conclusion. Finally a conclusion. Okay, let us discuss the answer. What student has done is breaking that structure. Student has missed somewhat the reasoning part. There's the sentence on reasoning is missing over here, and over here the structure is somewhat distorted, as I'll discuss at the end of this video, that how the structural problem exists. Well, here, let us go through mistakes one by one. Here, the student should have written a single sentence, not as a modifier, but as a part of main sentence. If you simply put a comma over here, it becomes a modifier, and that is an inappropriate over here. Now, what is a modifier? For example, you are writing a sentence. Okay, let this be the sentence. King John, who is 6 feet tall, is the ruler of Britain. Now, this portion, who is 6 feet tall, is basically a modifier. And it modifies... I'm sorry, what's happening? Yeah, this is a modifier, and it modifies King John. So, modifier is basically a portion, a clause, that is not part of the main sentence, is usually put between two commas, and it gives information about a subject, about a noun. Now come to this sentence. Society giving advices on eating habits, discouraging fatty foods. So this portion with a comma becomes a modifier, and this modifier is giving information about society. It's not related to scientists and doctors. So, because giving advice is by scientists and doctors, if it becomes a modifier, it will give information about society, which is wrong. So, if you want to discuss more with me, you can go through some of the articles. I'll send you a few links. Here, there should have been a connecting device by to avoid creation of a modifier. So, scientists and doctors have always promoted a healthy lifestyle in our society by giving advice. So, this clearly links scientists and doctors. The second point here is that advices is the plural of advices. Advice is advice. It's not advices. Thirdly, despite these advices, there is no need of writing these advices. The previous sentence mainly focuses on advice. So you can say, despite this, that is, despite scientists and doctors giving advice, the complete process. Despite the complete process of scientists and doctors giving advice, people are doing something. Now, here is something special. Here is a lexical resource issue. What the student has done is used a wrong word or not an appropriate word. So they really care about their lives, really care about their physical well-being. It's not about lives, it's about physical well-being. This is more appropriate. There are a few other issues such as a good diet. What is a good diet? Nobody knows. So a healthy diet is more appropriate. This is again a lexical resource issue, and this is also a collocation issue. What are collocations? As explained in a number of previous videos, collocations are basically the naturally occurring words, words occurring together naturally. So with diet, it's always healthy. It's not good. Okay, this is another also collocation issue, and it becomes a lexical resource issue. Now here's a sentence I have highlighted, that how reasons need to be inculcated into the introduction. Okay. Now coming to body paragraphs. The first body paragraph should have been on the reasons. However, student has actually written this one on solutions, not the reasons. This is a solution paragraph, which is a bit inappropriate. Should have focused on reasons initially. However, let us discuss how this paragraph has been structured. Well, if you go from this portion to here, yeah, this is the first point, that the solution to prevent making people more healthier is to promote vegetarian lifestyle. And vegetarian lifestyle, this is the idea, vegetarian lifestyle. And here is the explanation from the second sentence, that vegetables have a lot of nutrients, and a good way to inspire people is to show them how to cook vegetables easily. That is, we are trying to change a habit and making them follow some healthy practices, since they are following unhealthy activities. And you should have first given the reasons, but what needs to be done? This needs to be done. So the first point is pretty much clear. The second point, the social networks have a huge impact. This is the idea number 2. This was idea number 1. This is idea number 2. The social networks have a huge impact. The student has given a second idea, but not mentioned how this idea helps in promotion of healthy activities. So the idea 2 is not clear. Not only is that idea not clear, there is no explanation whatsoever. The explanation is missing, and consequently this falls weak on the band score in helping you score better bands. The explanation itself is not strong. Once you go through it, that people are using mobile apps for vegetarian diet, and that is, they are promoting vegetarian diet. It does not explain how it helps in changing people's behavior, how it is making them more healthy. So the proper context is missing here. The example should be centered on how they can be made to follow healthy activities and unfollow the unhealthy activities. What can be done to change it? Okay, here's the example should be on change. This one. Now let us move to the next body paragraph. It begins with people have been bombarded every day with these informations. The plural of information is information. It's not informations. But they still procrastinated. Now here is the problem. You have used people have been bombarded. So have been means that something began in the past. This is past. Something began in the past and is still continuing to the present. So this is have or have been. Now if it is continuing to the present, it must be present over here. So this one should have been present tense. Um, so this is clear. Idea one, it is not clearly explained. People have been bombarded every day with this information, but they still procrastinate to change their habits. This is not, idea one is clear, but it is not explained. They usually do not buy vegetarian meals or choose a vegan option because they are discouraged by the, instead of the, it should be its, um, because it's either vegetarian meals or a vegan option. Okay, I guess this one is pretty clear. There should be a future tense will, and therefore a reducing of pricing. It's inappropriate. The right structure is reducing the price of these vegetables. Now, here is another issue from scratches. If you read this sentence, what do you exactly mean by scratches? It's not clear. So this is, since you are unable to explain idea in right words, this is a lexical resource issue. By simply writing delicious meals using these vegetables, these is a referencing device which refers to vegetables mentioned above their own vegetables. These mentions to these vegetables, and it would have been a much better construction without any vagueness. The vagueness or the lack of specific things, lack of clarity, lack of concreteness continues in the next sentence. Especially a country should ban OGM. What is OGM? Writing these terms will reduce your band score. Kindly keep writing something specific. Write the complete form which helps the reader understand. Food, close all trades with multinational companies. What do you mean by close all trades with multinational companies? The idea itself is not clear. Are you saying that all the businesses should be shut down? What exactly is the meaning? Try avoiding writing something which is not clear. Please avoid it. And moreover, you have written already a lot of stuff. This could have been avoided. Now here is the structural issue in this answer. As you remember, students, first body paragraph 1 was on the solutions. Body paragraph 2, that is the one over here, it's on the problem, the reasons why the problem exists. And the body paragraph 3 is again on solution. So what exactly are you trying to follow? The structure itself is not clear. The essay should follow clear structuring. First the reasons, then solutions, that's it. You've written a lot, and written a lot in an unorganized, haphazard form. Now here is a parallelism issue. This violates parallelism. Let me explain it. Let me take a few seconds to explain it. Alongside changing eating habits, people should break the old self-destructive manner of living. Now, here people should do a few things. It is evident. Number 1 is break. Number 2 is start. Number 3 is running. And number 4 is doing. Okay? Though the structure is fine, let me try to reduce the complexity. What are the people doing? People are, number 1, they should break, and number 2, start. And start what? Exercising, number 1, number 2, running, and number 3, doing. Now this is fine. You have used an and over here and or over here. This is fine. However, it would have been simpler and much better if you had simply used commas, break, comma, start, start exercising, comma, run, or doing. There's just one or over here, which is a much simpler form of writing a sentence than using and or. So this would have been much appropriate. I'm sorry, it's not a violation of parallelism. It is, in fact, I should say a complex form of parallelism. But the parallelism itself is fine. Break, start, exercising, running, doing. However, it would have been much simpler if you had simply used commas and tried to keep it a bit simpler than this one. Finally, there is one last thing to add, though conclusion can be made much better. There's just one thing I would like to discuss before closing. People have to do three things. Number one, change. Number two, stop liking. And number three, should begin. This should is violating parallelism. It should be just begin. Change, stop, begin. These three are verbs which are parallel to each other. This is in the interest of parallelism that should be avoided. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I know it was a long one, more than about 13-14 minutes. However, it needed a few detailed discussions. Thank you for watching and being patient.